Hey guys, in this video, I want to show you how to challenge parking tickets. So my name is Leo from Parking UK, and I have a website where you can learn how to challenge parking tickets. So in this video, I'll go through an example of how a customer managed to win a parking ticket appeal against Parking Eye. And I'll talk to you about the process, how to submit your appeals, what to check on your parking ticket, etc. So let me show you some of the screens that we completed to get this parking charge cancelled. The first screen just involves selecting the parking company name and the operator association, which is pretty straightforward. It's Parking Eye and it's BPA. On the second part, does the parking charge clearly state the reason it was issued? In this case, we selected yes, the reason of issue is clear because they provided quite a detailed explanation of the reason, which includes no return. Did the driver got the car park more than once on the same day? This is actually a very important point, and I'll explain to you why later on. But in this case, we simply answered yes, the driver went to the car park more than once. And on this section, it requests to see, it's asking you the question to say, have you seen any photo evidence of where the vehicle was parked? You can see that the evidence provided by the parking company in this scenario was essentially just images from their ANPR camera, so just CCTV footages. So this doesn't show where the vehicle was parked, and this is really, really important. The second part is, does the parking charge notice, the parking sign, or their website mention the word contravention? So if contravention is mentioned, then you might not be held liable for breach of contract, because contravention can only be used for penalty charge notices issued by the council. So the other question we have to just double check is, was the parking charge notice issued within 14 days? Now we can see from the parking charge, the date of event was 19th of July and the date issued was 27th of July, so this was about 8 days. So in this case, it was issued in 8 days, so the answer was yes, it was issued in 14 days. Does the notice to keeper say it was issued under POPLA 2012? We can clearly say that it does, so the answer here was yes. Does the notice to keeper show how long the vehicle was parked? Again, we can see how long the vehicle was parked. So all you have to do is just answer the questions. Mostly you can see it's yes or no, so pretty straightforward. Now, in terms of which of those reasons were the most strong appeal points put forward, it was actually the evidence that the terms of parking were brought to the attention of the driver. There was no evidence, so we know that this is one of the main points we put forward. Contravention rather than breach of contract, this is another strong point. The driver visited the car park more than once, this is another strong point. The other point on evidence requested is asking the parking company to provide evidence, for example, landowner authorization or copies of the signage. Now, the reason why you ask for evidence at this stage, on the first stage of the appeal, is because you want to see what evidence they have, just in case the appeal goes to POPLA, you can make some comments about the poor signage or that the contract is not valid. Lastly, if Parking Eye refused to provide information, now there's a law called Fraud Act 2006, which essentially explains in what scenarios one can be found to be committing fraud. Now, when you're doing the appeal, we are asking the parking company to provide some information. We're asking them to essentially, be truthful and honest in their response, and we don't want the person making the appeal decision to abuse the position. So these are all sections of Fraud Act 2006, which essentially we use to try and make sure the parking company follow the rules. Now, at the first appeal stage, it may not matter so much, but when the appeal goes to a professional lawyer at POPLA, then this becomes in handy, because if the parking company hasn't followed the rules correctly, then we can use this in your favor. So unfortunately, the parking company rejected this appeal. So this is the first stage of the appeal process. So in the 3-step appeal process, we have writing the appeal, we have submitting the appeal to the parking company, but at the second stage, which is submitting the parking company, they refused. But luckily, they gave us a POPLA code, so which means we had one more opportunity to send this case to the tribunal. Now, the tribunal is the best place to essentially handle the dispute, because someone who is impartial will look at the case and make a decision. While the decision is binding on the parking company, it's not binding on you, the motorist. So in this case, the parking company didn't really address the appeal points put forward. So we essentially just forwarded the same appeal to POPLA. Starting a new appeal is pretty straightforward on POPLA, and if you use parkingmateuk.com, we will literally give you the exact information you need to put in each field. Again, you can't be too candid with doing your POPLA appeal. You need to essentially answer certain questions correctly, otherwise it can backfire. There's 5 steps you have to follow. The verification number is provided by the parking company. Collecting your evidence, if you use ParkingMate UK, you don't have to do this. It's all taken care of when you check your parking ticket. And then submitting your appeal, we tell you how to do that, but this is essentially all you have to do at this stage. So once you complete the form and send the case to POPLA, POPLA will ask the parking company to upload their own evidence, and then you just simply have to wait for a decision, which can take up to 6 weeks. As long as you submit your appeal to POPLA the first time, you don't have to do anything else. You don't have to add any comments, because the ParkingMate UK system already has a number of requirements which the parking adjudicator at POPLA will go through when making a decision. So let's look at the decision. So in this case, the parking adjudicator agreed with the appeal put forward by the motorist, and the appeal was successful. But I'll just summarize why the appeal was successful. Essentially, the adjudicator agreed that there was no evidence that the terms of parking were brought to the attention of the driver. So this simply refers to Section 19 of the British Parking Association Code of Practice, which essentially says if the parking company wants to issue parking tickets, they have to make sure the signs are clearly displayed and visible everywhere. So in this case, the adjudicator found that the signs were not clearly displayed, so they couldn't determine how they were brought to the attention of the driver. So as you can see, this has nothing to do with why you were at Costa Coffee, how long you were there, what you did, and etc. It's all to do with checking if the parking ticket was issued correctly, and then using those mistakes to your advantage. So the other 2 points, contravention rather than breach of contract, were not considered, and the driver visited the car park more than once. The adjudicator didn't have to look at those because the first point was strong enough. You just need one good reason and your parking charge can be cancelled. So after the POPLA decision was made, Parking Eye sent an email confirming that the appeal had been done in favor of the motorist, and the parking charge notice was cancelled, and the website said outstanding balance was 0. So we received some many good reviews from customers and people who win appeals at POPLA. So if you use ParkingMate UK, feel free to leave a review and let us know your experience. But otherwise, we're going to do more videos and a live session every Sunday where we're going to try and answer some of your questions. So thanks for joining me on this video. Please follow, share and subscribe, and I'll meet you in the next video. Thank you.